All right, hello, welcome. Good morning, Illuvium. Hope everybody's doing well. Have ourselves a nice, quiet day so far here in this Monday Monday morning, rather. Of course, had a rather nice weekend. It was a little bit of a quieter one, but it did not mean that there was any shortage of excitement still. We did have, of course, our IPL 250 that did just take place last Saturday. I'll be going over the results of that. Then, moving on forward, we're just going to be doing the usual. I'm going to hop into Illuvium 0 for a moment, see if maybe I can snag some of my missing biodata, maybe find a few blueprints. Then I, throughout the week, was able to find a couple of blueprints, and I've uploaded them into my IMX wallet or into my Illuvium wallet, and I want to see if maybe I can turn those into skins. If some of those blueprints are easily accessible, like I could hop into a stage 1 run and earn those, maybe we'll do that. Otherwise, just do the usual maintenance and then hop on into some Illuvium Arena for some ranked play. Get all of that underway before we end up I'll be hopping off and then just watching how the Leviathan tournaments sit and goes end up going. Just some time here. Personally had that music way too high for myself. There we go. Now I can actually hear. Of course, on all platforms, I do have the chat pulled up, so by all means, any questions, any comments, or just want to come hang out, by all means, fire off a message in the chat. Not obligated to by any means in the slightest. I'm just happy you're here. Now, of course, let us hop into some of these results. So, of course, IPL 250 just happened once again on Saturday, or the Friday, Saturday. Similar fashion to the last ones, where it was the sit and goes on Friday, and then the main event on Saturday. I did get the opportunity to hop onto the Illuvium stream once again and cast the main event, cast the grand finals, alongside Paz and Caveman. It was a good time all around. I feel like that was one of our better casts as well. Definitely loved the trio of us working together. And something as so small can make such a huge difference too. Like, we went into that one, like we were happy with how last week went, for example. But we could tell that there was still some room for improvement. We kind of realigned things where Paz and I would basically be passing play-by-play to each other. I would take a round, he'd take a round, and so on and so forth. And then we would just let Caveman spill his knowledge throughout the game in the in-between sections. And then, of course, we'd hop in here and there, but like, we really let Caveman pop off, so to speak, with showcasing his in-game knowledge, being able to understand the game state and help tell the story of the game. And he did a fantastic job with that, so I want to see more of that. Has absolutely killing it now as well on the play-by-play side of things. And of course, I'm absolutely trying my best. Had a few good calls in that one I was proud of. Definitely look forward to making those highlights later. But in terms of the results for the tournament, I do have it pulled up. How about that? No scuff off the start. There we go. That is strange. So, of course, for the first time here in this season, which is weird to say, because if you had told me that Fox Spirit wouldn't have had a tournament win within the first month of the IPL, I probably would have told you that you were lying, or like, I would have been very, very surprised. But this is the tournament that they finally did get their IPL 250 alongside Lynx, and then OLA's Nariba up on the podium as well. So awesome job to those three. And with this IPL 250, we did have a couple of names that were kind of new to the grand finals. Furies is not one of them. Furies is always up there. Maybe still looking for their breakout, like, final placements, but Furious is always a threat, always there. Finishing 4th this time. Borges is one of those new faces for me personally, able to find a 5th place finish, and it was so, it's so weird, because at least my way of doing the Illuvium streams, when somebody gets to extremely low health, to the point where the next round will, if they lose one more, like, they would be eliminated, I almost automatically focus on that player. Not that I'm expecting them to lose, but I want to be there. Excuse me. I want to be there just in case it is their final moment in that game. And for both Borges and then for Aki as well, who is a new face here for me personally at least. In game 1 and 2 respectively, they were both down to single digits and made it all the way to the podium, I believe, or at least the top 4 in both of those occasions. So it's like they got a ton of screen time because I'm sitting there like expecting that it's going to be like they're doing great, but they have to lose at some point, right? And then no, they play basically perfect Illuvium for the next couple of rounds, or a multitude of rounds, and would definitely throw me off a little bit, but that's not a bad thing by any means. It's good to see them pop off like that. And then I think for the first time in the Grand Finals for an IPL event, we do get to see Anubis Syndicate come in here. Had, I believe, game 2 they had a pretty solid run, but they just had a hard time for the most part with the rest of them. Still making it into 7th place, making it into the Grand Finals, still a great day. And then Slick's Hype, one of our repeat winners, making it into Grand Finals, having a little bit of a harder time in the Grand Finals, but that is another Grand Finals for Slick's Hype at the end of the day. So lots of returning faces. The first win there in the IPL for Fox Spirit, I'm sure feels great. And then Lynx has just been extremely consistent as well. Nariba's finding themselves up there a lot more often. Furies is winning not just in the game, but in raffles as well. I think it's 2 weeks in a row now that Furies has won the equivalent or more in raffle pricing than they did when actually playing in the tournament. So, good on Furies. Take that luck. Get yourself a lottery ticket or something, I swear to God, because you're absolutely crushing it. And of course, finding some new faces in the Grand Finals as well is extremely cool to see. Now with that, things start to get a little bit interesting. I mean, as if it wasn't already, but there is plenty more around the corner. It's not necessarily made just yet, but this next 2 weeks is going to be incredible for Illuvium Pro League for IPL content, because we have the IPL 500, so it's notoriously a little bit more in terms of prizing, a little bit of a longer day because more people have their opportunity to compete. But then the week after that is the IPL 1000. So we have basically one of our majors and our super major of sorts in terms of the IPL regular season coming up within these next 2 weeks. But this next 2 weeks is probably going to be some of the most cutthroat Illuvium that we've had the opportunity to see. And of course, it all being free to play because it's not a part of the Leviathan mode. This is the Arena Gauntlet mode, so that is your free to play. Your Illuvials don't give you a competitive advantage kind of thing. So my goodness, it should be a crazy week or two. Some other events happening around the Illuvium ecosystem as well. Speaking of Leviathan, later on today, actually, this is your Tempest esports squad coming on through with their Leviathan tournaments. They will be hosting their sit and goes, 2 of them happening today. For me personally, it looks like it's at 12 and then 6. while there is no stream for the sit and go portion, I do believe a lot of the players actually end up streaming their own point of view through it. Like, they'll just turn off their camera and turn off their microphone, but they'll let you watch their gameplay as it's in action. And it is pretty interesting. I know I've tuned into Illumination's stream a few times and hung out, watched a tournament in that regard. But then in terms of the actual finals itself, it does end up getting streamed. I'm just double checking actually which stream that's even on. I don't want to feed false information. Storming. It's on Storming H's stream on Twitch. He covers the grand finals. So there is plenty of outlets to watch the streams and just continue to get involved in the community. So should be a good time. I've never competed in one of these Leviathan tournaments myself. While I do have a vast collection, or I'd call it a rather like decently large collection, obviously not professional level, but I have a pretty large above average collection. That doesn't mean my alluvials are actually any good. Like, when I'm out there, I'm not hard grinding for stats. I'm usually hard grinding for hollows and dark hollows, and just making sure that I have like one of each. More so just the collector's portion. I've not gone hard on trying to get the stats yet. That is something I do want to do, and I realize that's something I probably should be doing sometime soon, because if new sets of alluvials do eventually start coming out, and then I don't have a good set of the original ones, I am going to be shooting myself in the foot at least a little bit. And then personally, of course, this is just my point of view, I will not buy any more alluvials off the marketplace unless I absolutely have to. Because, to me, the going out, capturing, collecting, and then using something I've caught myself in tournaments, even if I'm at a disadvantage, is more of a fulfillment thing for me, and I enjoyed that more than just swipe best alluvial, best alluvial, best alluvial. I've done that once, and I almost lost all interest in Arena after that. I will never do that again. Not that the experience was bad. If anything, it was actually quite easy, and I applaud like Illuvium for that. And like, if there's players that's the outlet they want to go, by all means go for it. But at least for me, once I had the alluvials I wanted just based off of purchase, I lost my drive for a while. A very long while at that too, and I want to keep enjoying this, so I'm not going to go down that road. At least personally. With that, I'm going to be popping up the Illuvium 0. Let's go see what we can catch up with today. Again, I had a couple of my skins that I had pumping out through my transducers finish. So I have a bunch of blueprints now available. Eventually I'm going to hop into Overworld and see if it's something that I could make. Actually, let me see here if I... Slappins, Tirus, Clings, and then maybe a Tofi? Oh no, my Kling's not ready yet, but everything else is, it looks like. So yeah, I'll see what my collection looks like, and maybe we might be able to walk into Rank today with a new skin of sorts. I know personally, yellow is always my favorite, so like the Link skins are my favorite as of right now. However, part of me also likes changing my suit to match whatever I'm kind of wearing that day. So that is another reason why I like having such a vast collection. Alright, plot number 1. So one thing that I'm realizing real quick, because I was sitting on my fuel for so long, I never really had to deal with it. But now I'm really starting to pump through my resources, trying to get a ton of biodata and trying to do a bunch of blueprints. I'm realizing that I am, in fact, losing more than I can make a day in terms of fuel, so I am definitely starving myself out a little bit. I'm gonna have to start making some choices based off of how many scans do I want compared to how much biodata, or how much biodata do I want researched for blueprints. So I'll have to kind of balance that out here in a second. So what I am going to do, I'm going to turn the repeat off of everything because I need to kind of calculate this a little bit properly. I like having the 5 and 5 available. This way, when I do, say, get all of my passive fuel from my converters, I can have maybe 1 or 2 runs of the city going full blast. But I have the option, of course, of just not using everything, which, I mean, is it optimal? Probably not, but I like having the option. First and foremost, I'm going to grab my fuel. I am running low on the other 2 fuel types, so I am going to need to shoot the converter off for both of these. Do I have enough? Now, fire these off. Okay, that works. Grab my water ones up until a point. Grab my silicone. There we go. And now the fun part. Let's start looking at the research facilities. So the main thing that I'm trying to shoot for now is I want to get drones and suits. At least one of each for the Archelion. Archelion, one of my favorite alluvials, outside of the Lynxes, of course. So I want to have a skin and drone combination for it. Let's see how this goes. Research number 1, no chance. 2, nope. 3, nope. 4, nope. And then lucky number 5. How about that? We do end up getting one. All right, so what I'm going to end up doing, my handy dandy notepad of sorts. Of course, blueprints checklist. I now have the buck for the Archelion. And of course, after the stream last week, when I showed this off for the first time, I had gotten about 2 to 3 messages of people asking for a copy of my spreadsheet. So I just straight up made one and put it on X now. It's publicly available for anybody to use. So if you want to do this for your own Illuvium Zero plots and be hyper-organized as I am here, by all means, you're more than willing to use it. Or you're more than welcome, rather, to use it. Alright, so we did get the Bach, which is pretty cool. Now, scanner-wise, how are we gonna do? Nope, 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 and nope. That is A-okay. Now, with that Archelion being scooped up, I am going to use some of my fuel to send it off here. So, Monday next week, we can go make a skin here for this. So one more time. Production. From the sea, this is an Archelion. We have the drone, specifically the Bach. Started on the 22nd of September. With the approximate finish, I believe it's technically 6 days, but just so I have it ready for stream next week, let's call it the 29th. Alright. Marked down and good to go. Did I have any others? No, my Tatofi did finish, actually. Finished the other day. So, kill that. It's just strictly the Archelion. Cool. Back to 0. Now, of course, since I did use a bunch of resources, let's get the rest of the resources from my buildings now. That part's good, and now we can send off. I have exactly enough for either 5 scans or 5 researches. And just in case, I want to keep it to a tier 1 because I know I can actually make those skins kind of easy compared to some of these other ones. Fox watching on X, hello, welcome. Sorry, I'm just seeing you now. I do actually have a blank copy on my X profile. Let me actually pin it so that you can snag it. That you can just copy paste over or make a copy in the file section. Let me see if I can find it here. It shouldn't be too far down. Here we are. Alright, so yeah, I just pinned this now on my X page here, where you should be able to just click on this, it'll pop open what I believe is, yeah, a fully blank variant of my spreadsheet, so you're more than welcome to use it if you'd like. Yeah, my pleasure. It's one of those little things. I know when Zero, like, eventually gets more attention to it, because, of course, at the end of the day, Zero is the support game, not the main game for Illuvium, so it's going to take a bit of a back burner seat. I imagine one day there'll be quality of life stuff like that spreadsheet for better tracking of our collections. But for, obviously, right here, right now, they're worried about Arena, they're worried about the MMO. Which rightfully so. Those are the ones that are going to draw in all the attention and all the players. The little support city game is not going to be that game. So, I am completely content having the manual version for the time being here with our spreadsheet. To make Zero great again. It will be one day, I'm sure. I still relatively enjoy it. Like, for what it's worth, I enjoy it. It isn't obviously, like, knock your socks off incredible by any means. I'm not going to shell that hard. Promise you that much. But for what it's worth, as someone who is very meticulous about being self-sufficient and likes making their own stuff for the game, I still love being able to collect blueprints and then make my own skins out of them. Yes, I know I can probably go into the store and for like $1 or $2 probably just buy it out of the store. But again, that's stupid to me. I do not like that. If other players want to do it, by all means, go ahead. I feel better when I make it myself. Excuse me for just a second. It's starting to cool off a little bit. Now, of course, here comes the runny noses. Good God. In terms of the next tier 1 that we're going to end up cooking up here, if possible, I'd love for it to be a stage 3. Let's see. Stage 3s. It won't let me mark by tier, will it now? Okay, here we go. I have an Atlas skin already. I don't have anything for the Kukurev or the Riley. Oh no, I do have something for the Riley, I think. You know what? Let's do Kukurev. I'm gonna start off with drones. My filter didn't stay. Unfortunate. There you are. Then I have one more research facility around here somewhere. There you are. I feel like there might be some people ready to fight you to be the Hokage. No, I'm definitely glad. I'd love to see it. There's plenty of ways that they can take this, and from what it sounds like, they have ideas. It's just a matter of being able to implement it in with the rest of the ecosystem eventually. I know they've mentioned things like the training facilities for leveling alluvials up and things like that before, so they have ideas, they're cooking, and if I recall correctly, a lot of the selling point off of the original like tier 5 plots was so that you can have like an esports stadium in your plot or something like that. Granted, this was a long time ago. This is basically what I heard, not from probably like the council or anybody for themselves, but it was the idea that was kind of being floated around. So it's exciting. With the whole NFT side of things, there's plenty of cool things that you can implement. I know the only thing that kind of bums me right now is I miss being able to take my fuel and just ship it off to my overworld. But I guess with us being so close to the MMO, I guess that makes sense. Kind of shut things down a little bit because we don't know exactly how fuel and the MMO is going to work with each other. That's the only thing that really disappoints me, because yeah, there's literally no purpose for me to burn fuel if I have any sense of trying to actually progress my plot right now. I do not make enough of fuel in order to do that. Alright, my next plot. Excuse me. What did I have cooking up here? Fuel-wise, I am low once again, this time specifically on the Krypton, but thankfully that is what my plot is built for. So just like that, we'll shoot right back up nice and safely. This plot can safely go for 5 scans, 5 researches without issue right now. Got a little bit more in the tank for that. I do need all of my resources, so let's just mash. I'll take those. And now for this Archelion run here, this was for suits. I'll keep my repeater on for now. Yeah, leveling up your plant to get as maxed out as quick as possible. And then even burning, but even like for myself, if I'm making say 38 fuel of a certain type a day, but I'm burning say 15 of each fuel for 5 scans, or burning 15 of each fuel for research, I'm never making overflow. So this is just tier 1 problems. I know, pay up and go for a bigger tier plot and you probably don't have this issue. But again, I'm from the side of the average gamer who's just trying to get in at an entry level and see how hard I can push the game from an entry level point. And that being tier 1. So yeah, it's a tier 1 issue, but it's kind of meant to be a tier 1 issue. And then, yeah, being able to collect all of these blueprints right now, as much as this is a personal collection just because I love collecting, I do realize there could be the potential for value later on. It's not the first and foremost thing on my mind, because if I'm doing this just to, like, to sell it or to get paid and whatnot, that's no longer a game, that's a job, and I have no fun doing that. But thankfully, I find the collecting portion very, very fun. I love making my own skin first, and then if somebody wants a skin, or if I have extras of something sometime down the road, by all means. And it's hard to keep pushing, absolutely. the tier 1 grinds, like that first plot that you've seen, I probably had that plot from the Hysalon Sea there for a couple of years. These next ones coming up here, the one here in Abyssal Basin and my Shard Bluff, are 1 year old as well, I believe. And then my Taiga Boreal is only 4 months old. But yeah, you gotta be on top of it, and it can absolutely be a grind, but it feels that much better when you do produce something out of the land afterwards. Alright, enough yapping though. For me anyway, I'm going to take a look and see what do our scanners or researchers happen to get this time. Scan 1, nothing. Scan 2, Arcane Flora Links, my baby. I love this thing. I don't think I had that before. Hang on. Arcane Flora Links. Let me switch over. No, I did not have it before. There we go. I just caught a hollow one of these in Overworld, and now I have the biodata. That's a feel-good moment right there. I'm happy about that. Do we find any more? Nimble Zephyr Links. Holy smokes, we're getting 2. Nimble Zephyr. Nimble Zephyr, we did not have that. There we go. Very rarely do I pull 2 biodatas in a day, so that is absolutely incredible. Oh my... Streamer luck is real today! I am finding my Lynxes! The strategy is working. Stoic Ember Lynx. Welcome to the board. That is a new one I never had yet either. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Fox. And now, is that... No, I have one more scan. Okay. It had to stop eventually, right? And the one thing I do want to actually mention with my setup. So, on each of my... Or here, one second. On each of my plots, one scanner, this one's going to be level 5, so of course it can pick up everything that could possibly be picked up in the game. However, you'll notice that the rest of these, I do have them still set at level 2, and before this week they were actually still at level 1. What I was doing is, if I went back to my sheet here one more time, is I had all of these level 1s. I do this with every single plot that I have right now, except Taiga Boreal, because that thing's so new it's not doing scans right now. But I had the rest of my scanners set to level 1, because I wanted to make sure that I can collect every single one of the biodatas from Tier 1. Now that I do have all of the Tier 1 biodata, I slowly but surely, it took about a week to get it done, but I now have all of my scanners at least level 2, and I'm going to keep them at level 2 until I have every single biodata for every single Lynx. That is the goal. And then I'm slowly going to keep doing this time and time again here. So I collected all the Lynxes. Okay, let's go to Tier 3. I got all the Tier 3s, let's go to Tier 4s. And then if I get to the point where I have all Tier 5s, I guess I'm just maxed out and I'm pretty much set until another set of alluvials come out, which then kind of shoots me in the foot. But at least my Tier 5 scanners would be able to scan anything from a new set. At least that's how my mindset goes for it. That was the scanning side of things. I do have the right screen open, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Scanning portion's done. Paying these goals. How about the research? Can I find an Archelion suit? That is what I had this plot doing. Not in the first. Got a fact for the second, which the facts are cute. I like that. It's better than getting nothing. 3's nothing, 4 nothing, last one, nothing. We're gonna have to try again. That's a-okay. I know it's like a 5% chance or so. And the one thing that I'll also mention as well, how I scored the 3 biodatas. Look at these plots, like, or these scanners. I don't have them at good efficiency at all. And my justification for it is that if I don't think it shows you anymore what the percentage chance was to scan an alluvial, but I believe it was something small like 5% before. I know the research for bio or for blueprints is 5%. So I figure that these are probably 5% as well. And just, I guess they don't go any higher than 100%. So having more of the power stations isn't going to get me any value. So what I just ended up doing is I shoved a bunch of my scanners there, because if I'm at 50% of 5%, that's still, what, 2.5%? And I find more value of just having multiple chances at rolling at 2.5% compared to a full 100% efficiency chance at 5, and then maybe only having 1 scanner. Like, I could dedicate it so that every corner has a massive empty space to give it full, like, 100% efficiency, but I'm just losing out on so much space and so many additional buildings if I do that. So, that's my justification for it. In case anybody wonders why I have all of my scanners stacked up, for the most part, and in the middle of the city, taking massive hits. That's why. My second oldest plot. Looks like we have a couple of the passive generated fuels available, so I'm going to pick those up. Reset my extractor. And then this one we'll just go through quickly because it actually does not have any anything going for it right now. I do believe they are all level 2 at least. Yes, they are. That part's good. Leave it at that for now. Take that anyway, that's fine. What do I have here that I could research? I don't think there's anything in particular I was trying to build. Okay, it's going to make it do for me. This is one thing that does piss me off. I specifically told this thing to not repeat. And it stops, but then the next time that I fire off a research, it doesn't let me pick anything. It just spends the fuel and does it for me. The only way that I know how to stop this, I have to set them all off, and then I have to cancel it, which just wastes all of the fuel. I already have everything I want for Cardalo. I don't want anything more, so I have to painfully just lose 45 fuel just because I can't adjust the UI. So that's something I do hope eventually gets fixed up. Yeah, now I can actually pick my alluvial here. Alright. The next tier ones I'm going to try and do is Sepphoris. Let's go for the drone stuff first. Fire all these off. And then personally, I don't mind if I get multiple drone blueprints because unlike the suits at least, where sure in Overworld there's a difference because you actually have to attach it to the proper proper suit in order to see the effect. It doesn't actually do that in the arena itself. As long as you have the suit skin of any suit made in your possession, it will work. So in that regard, it's easier to find a suit skin. Meanwhile, for the drone skins, there are the 4 different types of drones, and people do have their own personal preferences. So optimally, I'd love to have one of each Illuvial having each of the 4 drone skins in an endgame kind of scenario, or endgame collection kind of scenario. And then this is my newest base, which is also a bit of an experiment here for me. Because in a very, very similar fashion to these scanners, like the rest of my plots were so hard focused on getting the one resource to 150% on every single converter, but I could only have the 12 converters. So on the contrary, what happens if I just litter the field with a ton of different, or maxing out on all of the converters, but they're at a weaker efficiency? And what I've discovered, at least based off of my quick math, is that the output actually is the exact same. But because I have all of these different converters and I'm getting all these different types of fuel, it means that I have to convert the fuel a lot less often. I could absolutely be incorrect, but it's what I've noticed so far anyway. Now I'm personally trying to catch up with some of the resources here. I want to rebalance this out a little bit. It does seem that the stream is having slight hiccups here and there. That is not on you, that is on me. My ISP is still being very, very strange. I still do have to give them a call at some point. It's just frustrating. I hate that the speed is great and then sometimes it just stops. Ooh, muted just in time. Excuse me. So I'm just going to balance this out here. Then I'm going to hop into Overworld for just a moment to see if there are any skins that I can make. Then once that's done, we can squeak in a ranked game or two. And yes, I'm not trying to be balanced right now in terms of which resource I'm clicking. I was in the most need of silicone. So I am going to emphasize using less of it for these converters. And because I did the base the way that I did with all the mass converters being on top of each other and whatnot like this, it left me a lot more space. Like you'll see in terms of the resources, I have so many more of these resource converter plants. And all of them are at 150, so they're getting like full value, and that was just, again, trying to keep efficiency high. I have so much power needed for all of these converters for fuel, it just kind of naturally buffs these. So if you wanted to try it at your own risk, by all means, go ahead. I could very well just be doing like the worst strategy known in mankind, but it is working for now. Not having to worry about converting so much is definitely nice. And I just recently got this up to, or this fuel extractor to level 6. So now it's just a matter of, do I want to level up my resource converters a little bit more? I'll probably start chipping away at that. The passive generation of these fuel converters I can up a little bit. I can focus that, or I can just finally start scanning and bringing in biodata. I have a couple just off of a couple trial runs, a couple of these tier 1s. And this plot will be focused on getting blueprints for tier 1s to start off with, even if it's just the little guys. because I don't want to blow so much fuel just trying to upgrade these. So it only says 20, and I mean, it adds up quick. But with that being said, I shall knock out 0 for now. And we'll bring Illuvium itself up here. And people say that 0 is boring, but I tell you what, I think I yapped for almost an hour here, 45 minutes, just about events and then Illuvium 0. What I will say is it's about as fun as you make it. If I didn't have these goals in mind, like if I didn't care about blueprints or skin collection or being self-sufficient, I can understand why it's dull to some people. But it's interesting and it's exciting to me because I have all of these goals I set for myself. Alright, Illuvium's just being loaded up here right now. Okay, skin checks. Let's see what we can do. One person I've been seeing stream a lot more often is Slicks, actually, so I'm curious if they're doing Leviathan today by any chance. Of course, first thing I always double check is if there's any shards that I need to make. I do not want to go out into the field empty-handed if I happen to go out into the field. Skins now. Okay, we do have a couple, it looks like, that I can make. I already have the Tiru exosuit. That's just an extra that I happen to have. I don't have enough Riptors. And I accidentally made 2 blueprints. So let's see, Tatofi Hilda. What are my crappiest Tatofis? There's 1 for sure, there's 2. And... right. 3. I already have a Tatofi suit, so now I have a Tatofi Hilda now on the way. Which, again, now if I go to my sheets, skin crafting list, Tatofi now has a Hilda. There we go. So yes, a lot of my play with Illuvium does sometimes revolve around a spreadsheet. Can you tell I came from EVE Online? I played a lot of that, to say the least. Some habits die hard. Now this Tiru Bach. I personally like this. Do I have something not to... Oh god, I need some... I don't like getting rid of hollows for skins, so I think I might actually need to do a quick run for Tirus. Yeah, because I have the Tiru, actually... Is that the Tiru I have right there? The Hilda, I've got that one. But I do want to have the Bach as well. I'm going to do one run. One run through Crimson Wastes. And see how many I can find. See if I can find any sort of bonuses there as well in terms of the other alluvials. To try to just honestly find any T-Roo, specifically try to find crappy T-Roos, because I do not want to use a good statted one for skin creation. Okay, let's do this. From the top. That's kind of cool. I'll take the TNT. TNT Hollow. How is it that I have so far not found one T-Roo here? A Monarch is even here. A Lalura's here. EB Rico, there's a little T-Roo. I'll take that. Chacondi. Archelion. Another Chacondi. Hollow Totofi. Nimble Terror Links. Do I have one? So once again, y'all know what's up. So I have Hollow Collection. Nimble Terra Links I actually don't have, so that might be something I now put on my radar. And we'll go back into the game. My only... Okay, there's another T-Roo. One more if possible would be nice. The other thing to keep in mind too, because T-Roo is such a common low-level tier 1, is that it could just end up as somebody's partner while I'm going after one of these other ones. So I'm gonna go after the Hollows, I'm gonna go after the Terra Links as well first, and hope that there's also T-Roos with it. Game sounds kind of quiet. 1 second. Helps if I hit accept. Alright. My driving skills a little bit lack to be desired. To think that I used to be an iRacing coach. I went the wrong way, didn't I? Yep, wrong path. This place gets me lost every single time, I swear to God. I literally just got started. We're going back to the obelisk the old-fashioned way. Or the... not the old-fashioned way, but just teleporter, because I just suck at traversing through Crimson. That's better. Nimble Terra Links. This would be the first one in my collection if we pull this off. Hey, just like that. We got a T-Roo hanging out here. Now, this is kind of scary, though. We got a lot of damage here with this squad ahead of us. Thankfully, my alluvials are also on the tankier side. I do bring a relatively tanky squad. Let's see. But you're 65. It's crazy to think that I would have to if I want any shot at doing 2 in a row here. I might just have to use a bigger shard than I want to. Pull that off. Do I go for the healer? Do I go for damage? I just want to make sure that I even have the opportunity to begin with. That's actually so expensive. Damn. Or actually, I think I know how we can do this. We will run this. The order of how I catch these is going to be important. Unfortunate that the lotto ended up going down, so it's going to end up tiring out a little bit quicker. But we got a job done. My wife did just hop on in over to let me know that there is a thunderstorm in the area. So if I all of a sudden disappear, I am so sorry. Yeah, I can hear it on the AC now, unfortunately. Okay, so in order to get the job done that I want here, I need to confirm one-shots. This one is going to take 30. So I'm going to do... May seem stupid, but I'm going to overshard this Tiru. I find myself constantly finding tier 2 shards, so this doesn't bother me. Even though someone just starting off would probably look at what I did as absolute sacrilege. Get the Tiru because I need this for the skin. And now we go to the links, where I can bump it up to a level 3 and have a best possible chance of 80. I don't get many tier 4s, so I'm not going to go that high. If we lose it, we lose it. I'm not going to be too heartbroken, but I would love to see this work. It is going to work out, so plan completed successfully. Very, very beefy Terra Lynx at that, has move speed as well as full HP. I know most people don't even act like move speed is a proper statistic. Like, you can have technically a perfect alluvial but not have any move speed, which I understand. It's technically, as a battle statistic, it's not going to help you any. Never in the game have I, maybe outside of like the Blotto or the Crunk, who are so damn slow that it's not even funny, but for the majority of the alluvials out there, they have a decent enough speed that focusing on the speed itself isn't usually a problem. Hollow T-Ante is going to be the next thing on my target list. I would still like maybe 2 or 3 more Tirus for skin creation. And if I happen to see any of the quote-unquote green rocks, I do want to shoot it as well, just for some more shards. Gosh, traversing this place is always a struggle, though, as you can tell. Especially when I'm probably trying to go too quick for my own good. This is just gonna bring me back to where it was, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. Well, I can hop out. There we go. This is better. Yep. I'd rather be in the open than be tunneling. Okay, the TNT should be around here somewhere. Oh, there you are.
Nice shot.
All right, let's get in there. One thing I did not do was mark down that Terralinks. It is now checked on the board. And there we go. Another Tiru is here for us to collect as well. This works out nicely. Toxic Squad comes out to play. I think there should be plenty. Absolutely was. Now, similar fashion, since I'm trying to scoop up two at the same time here. Decent damage here on the Tofi. Use my two once again. And then I will just throw a level 1 shard at the Tiru, assuming that I get this. There we go. That'll be my second Hollow TNT. And then now I'll be cheap and see if I can scoop up this Tiru for low cost. I think there was one more hollow out there. And this one's gonna run. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. I think there's still just the one more hollow TNT out there that I want to go run and grab. Then I will stop the run. I won't exit the, leave the run completely. I'll just worry about harvesting stuff later. I'm not gonna do that on stream. But then we'll hop into Arena for our last hour of our stream here today. Where was the thing? It was down lower, right? Yeah, right down here. Of course, everything has to be so far away from each other today, apparently. Hello, Chikoro. That should be a nice fun day, of course, of Illuvium. We do have that Leviathan tournament from Tempest Gaming, or Tempest Esports, going to be happening, I think, within the hour. 12 o'clock that'll be starting, I believe, my time, or in just an hour for wherever you may be. Is it bad that I didn't even see where that Tofi was at first? It's sitting there in front of me and I just feel like I'm looking at a rock. And there is a T-Roo here as well. We might be able to get a few birds with one stone, or I might have to worry about that later. We'll see. Suit up the ranger to catch the rogues, while then I could probably just get my fighters to just go slap some Illuvial silly. Yeah, this probably works fine. Catching this thing was extremely exciting. Finding a stage 3 hollow like this does not happen too often, so I was very, very excited to see it. I'd have 2. I was so sad. I think I posted it in my shiny collecting guide or my hollow collecting guide on YouTube, but I had found a hollowed out, decked out Sepphoris, but I got too cheap trying to not put very many Illuvials on the board, and it ended up running away. I was absolutely a sad panda. There we go, Totophi is ours. And one more shot here towards T-Roo, so I can make the drone skin. Excuse me. And we are going to get up the cheap one. There we go. Alright, so I have an... Hey yo, we still muted. There we go. Guess I don't think I was muted for too long that time. So what I was saying a second ago is that because I only have the... Oh, this is going to be a tough choice, actually. I only have 650 left, so that's enough for one more catch. Now, between the Lilura and the Monarch, I like the Monarch more, and the only Monarch I do have has garbage stats, so I would love to be able to take a chance here and get this thing. Oh, there it is. We're right on the high ground, even. I wasn't expecting it to be up there. This will be a tough catch, but we'll see what we can do. As optimally, you probably want to be using a stage 4 shard, but at the same time I don't have many. So unless this thing has god tier stats, I'm just going to throw a level 3 at it. Which I'm not really going to be able to take a look at right now. Too small of a screen, unfortunately, on my end here. So... once again, load up our guys. Let's get the Cardawu here to catch. You to do damage. You take 75 a pop, huh? Okay. God dang. I'm going to be either extremely greedy or this is going to be perfect. Let's give this a shot as is, assuming that Apon's not going to do dog. Okay, we do go through the card low. Well, not the card low, the super roll. Take care of that Apon rather quickly. And bye Monarch. So this actually turned out quite nice. Okay. Moment of truth. What's this thing looking like? Full HP and full resistances actually is kind of nice. I wish it had a little bit more, but this is still pretty cool. Gonna check out the other alluvials just to make sure I'm not walking away from a perfect somewhere. Since I have 20... When did I get 20 of these? I don't remember getting that many. Yeah, this is literally only a 16% chance of catching this thing. I have to go up to a 4 to even break half, so I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. That's funny, I don't remember having that many stage 4, tier 4 sharks, so let's see. Would love to be able to get this monarch. Second one of the collection is going to be ours. Alright. The beautiful, beautiful bird. And if there is one thing that the IPL taught me, that Paz showed me, is how completely strange the legs and the foot looks of a monarch. I know we had that new mini game in between grand finals matches, and one of them was, can you guess which alluvial it is by this zoom in on a picture? And the first couple of pictures were all paws, or all claws, or all feet. So it looked kind of funny at first. But it was ridiculous to see that, no, that is actually the monarch. It looks like lynx feet on a butterfly, or on a moth, which is very, very strange. But there we go, mission complete here for our overworld run. This should now allow me to not only have the Terra Links, we got that TNT loaded up, and with the 2 T-Roos, I should be able to now make the Bach that I want. So if I slide on down, okay. Yeah, so that's an... Like, this one's somewhat decent, but even still, like, I'm not going to be heartbroken losing this thing, so... Let's make it! Okay, I was worried there. I thought I crashed for a second. Okay, being made now. While that is going on, let's get ready for an arena game. I guess that thunder is kind of loud, eh? To kind of show off what we did today. So, of course, I had the Tofi skin already made, but now we have its accompanying drone here for the Hilda. So this suit is good to go now. Then Ranger-wise, I did have this T-Roo exo suit already made. I did have the T-Roo Hilda, but if I wanted to use something different, use the Bach, I now have the Bach. So we just made this. Let's see if we can find ourselves a game win with the new car smell of this T-Roo combination. And probably sneak in 2 games as long as one of them isn't Brightland. The weekly mission is much more doable for me, at least personally. Finding top 4 in multiple ranked matches, that's a-okay. And the weekly mission here for the premium side of things. 5 stage 3 tier 5 units. Personally, I find that actually easier than what last week's was, where you had to get the Blazonite and the Mamu. on the board at the exact same time in one game. And then earn interest. Okay. Very doable. Very, very doable challenges here this week for the Battle Pass. What is the next thing that I'm looking for anyway? 400, I believe, is... Oh yeah, the drone. The Hilda Brightland Steps variant. Probably not my favorite of the group. Because personally, I liked similar to how the Chopin and the Bach were here, where you do have the pink, but it's mixed in with a lot of green. Pink isn't necessarily like the vibrant main color. This is just pink to me. And like there's a little bit of subtle green in the legs. Still looks good, don't get me wrong, but it isn't my favorite. Like something like here, like say the Mozart, this is what I like to see or I like this pattern better, I should say. Again, nothing wrong with the other Hilda, just personal preference. Who do we got with me here today? A lot of new faces, or faces I don't recognize, with the exception of Lars. And we get to play a little bit on Fast Forward, Sanctum Mesa. Already level 3 with 10 extra credits. Let's see how we do here. My goal for this week, so there's a few things that I have coming up around the corner. One thing that's quite nice is I'm going to be starting as soon as I get off of this stream, actually. I'm going to be starting to make some clips for Illuvium in short form kind of content style. Oh game, you know me too well. Immediately giving me a links. Yeah, so that's going to be starting for me, so I'm going to be working on that a little bit. And then one of the things I do want to start doing as well is a revamp of my out-of-game screens. So right now it's literally just a full screen camera on my face. My starting soon screen is something that was basically just as default as you can basically get, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there is still some room to improve that. So that's something I do want to do. I've been thinking about what I want to do for these in-game screens as well. I do kind of like that my color box does blend in with the Illuvium screen when I'm competing. But it can be a little bit out of place when I am not competing, so just trying to find the balance. Now these early rounds don't stress me too much. Do I get my engine? I do get my engine. Let's do that. Buff up the links. Buff up the links. There we go. Because it's Sanctum Mesa, like in theory I could have shot myself up to level 4 already. But I think I'm going to try and intentionally take the L here for the first little bit. Save my gold just a little bit more. Because, of course, this is a silent stream. We know what happens at level 5. We go all in for Lynxes. Okay, so with this setup, I've got Harbinger already. I've already got a relatively solid tank line. Things can hide in the background. Not heartbroken if we end up losing this. And I really like the way that the Bach skin ended up here. Or the Tiru skin looked like on the Bach. I like that a lot. Well, considering it's our Lynx and... Oh, no, we probably still lose this, so that's okay. I mean, is there a world where we take out the guy in time and burst them? A little bit of a wet noodle fight to finish this one off, but I'm losing, but at least I'm not losing hard. Energy regen. A little bit risky to go for that. Go for tank item. I'm gonna just go for the energy regen here. I have a water friend that I can have join the party here. I swap that over to you. Not intending to go for water, but if it falls in my lap, I'm not going to say no. And I'm curious, is anybody pushing Lynxes right now? One person has it, just Mr. Voss. Lose again, but only to one Illuvium. So basically, again, if I'm losing, I'd rather lose the way that it's happened. This player looks like they're just straight up AFK, so there is no losing this. And that is fine. I will put 1 point of my, not my experience, my coins towards leveling. This way I hit level 5 as we go into the NPC round. I'm going to wait for the NPC round to end, see how many Lynxes do we have on the board. It's an arcane Lynx, so not very many people actually like the arcane Lynx due to its susceptibility to misfires. However, I love the thing, so I want to see if I can make it work. In the last game, or one of the games I had yesterday in that I posted on X, I got a perfect game, and it was with the arcane Lynx. It was the Ember Lynx, granted, but it was the arcane Lynx at the end of the day. This one, of course, being the grass arcane Lynx, so the one that we just pulled out of the Illuvium Zero scanner. And then it should also be my holo that I got the other day. In the meantime, I will put Tofi in here to just give me a little bit of an extra boost here psionically. But after the carousel, we roll dice. I do get first dibs. Optimally, I think my target is the Cling. Specifically the one with the health, because I already have a lone blue component ready, so I can put that blue component onto my Cardillo. Eventually get my Cling out there. I might take the Tofi off, actually. Let's get that situated, and then let's start shooting with Lynxes. Oddly enough, I don't even have to roll yet. Alright, sweet. Because of that, Totofi can, as TNT can stay. Let's bring over this to get our health buff. The shield, I do not mind. So let's do that first. Attack damage, you have the attack damage, but actually, no, we're gonna move this over to the links. Kling, come join the party. If this rogue is going to dive in on me, I'm going to put links all the way to the corner. Small little six-sided dice style, and as this battle is happening, let's start looking. I kind of want Hetty too. I'm gonna go down to about 30, and then I'll pause, because we did not get very many at all here. A good shot there from the Arcane Lynx. We have this, I think. Take care of the Lynx, and there we go. We did not get very lucky on our first set of rolls. So I'm gonna pause for a moment and look again. See if I just got unlucky, or did people actually start rolling for lynxes? I mean, there's 2 on the board now. Hetty's coming out to play. This does give me an option here. I'm going to get rid of my 1. Let's now change this so that you come onto the board. Grass for the wildfire. And then my Archos comes to join. I should be able to blow up this Volente before it strikes. It's gonna trade chunk for chunk here, but the heal from my Archos is going to keep me in the game. Wind it up, let it rip, why don't we? Right through the Ranger. The Wildfire proc should help me torch through this squad as well. One more shot, bam, right on through. Half your health basically gone. Rather than going for the Colossus, the first adjustment I can see myself doing is switching over to Aegis. Switching over to Aegis will now allow me to move this over, move the tank onto the Wildfire. I want to position myself so that Aegis-wise, the buffs are given to the Lynx. Before we start, Mr. Vass, you do have 1 extra Lynx on the board. We'll try and look at one more player here and see if they have it. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's definitely a tough roll if I really want to go for it. It's on brand for me to do so, but is it smart for me to do so? Which is the question. I think the answer is no. What I like to do compared to what I should do are 2 different things here. But I could prep the transition towards mid to late game a little bit sooner. I just have to be a little bit more careful with my fights, as I'm not going to snowball anywhere near as hard. Atlas is a welcome addition. I think I see the shot. He's clumped up, so looking at this is making me very, very happy. You don't see nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't see nothing. That's a good shot right through the front line. Let's get it. Come on, Lynx. There we go. Got at least 3 of them. Could have been positioned just a little bit better, but it's still at least got some pretty serious value. The Wildfire is keeping my Crunk alive. There's another second shot. Okay, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's the beauty with the Arcane Lynx, though. You can position it in a perfect spot to find high value as long as the targets aren't diving at you. Normally you can get away with it. Once rogues start getting into the mix, though, that's when things get messy, because your first shot's gonna go where you intended, but the second one will redirect into whatever's closest to you. I'll take the little bit of Omnivamp, that's fine. Now this is just a NPC round. No major strategy to go into this one. Mr. Voss, what are you still cooking? Still holding the Lynxes, so I am going to opt to just worry about leveling up a little bit. As much as I want to push and try and find my arcane nature Lynx, floor Lynx, considering there's so many taken off the board already, it might not be wise to do so. Fusion crates. Let us go for... True Sight 1 allows for the possibility of maybe a Scoriox play later. In the meantime, I'll pop it onto you. Let's get our tank even tankier. This is another relatively bunched up composition. And I may not even have to leave my bunker to make this play happen. I can now add Cling to the squad. Low-key, I could probably just leave my setup exactly as is, and I'm still going to get an absolute money Omega shot. Because I should, in theory, be targeting that Groko first. And move in. Oh, it did end up going over a bit to the side. It's going to go into a Fleesh, but it's not going to go into the one that I was specifically looking for. The second shot will, though. Here we go. Still didn't necessarily go into the Fleesh, but that's okay. We're still trimming down this front line very, very quickly. My front line itself is still extremely strong and healthy. We will absolutely burn through this one. I can optimally make the push here now for level 7. I always love to get the 5 bulwarks, and I would be able to put Atlas onto the board. I would much rather have that as an Axon, but we'll have to see if we get that. Speaking of the devil, there you are. I can now move you on over. Axon has joined the squad. We now have 5 bulwark, 2 Aegis. With my Aegis trying to, as best as I possibly can, spread this out a little bit. Still intending on superpowering up this Lynx. Is that how I want to keep it? I'm not necessarily sure. Part of me is debating on the dash, but probably not. My first shot here from the Lynx is going to go into that Scorbach, which actually should lead me right to their back line. Big shots, beautiful shots across their 2 Scion carries. I'm going to get one more shot before it retargets. Did end up limiting the one, but it's not going into the DPS this time. But the rest of the Illuvials are doing exactly what they need to do. My Arcane Lynx is shooting at nothing, but that is a-okay. Everybody else is doing exactly what they need to do. Sorry if that came on the mic. I have a few ways I can take this, whether it be towards attack damage or towards magic damage. I have one augment for both. The Lynx is going to come out. Mr. Voss is going to be able to get that, so I'm going to steal the dash. For the very least of just being able to have something with high value. I mean, Scoriox play might be on the menu here for this time. So if that is the case, let's try and get one more level going. Up to about halfway. I'm not going to be using that. I'm not going to be using that. Not going to be using that. Not going to be using that. I will keep the heady just in case. I don't care about the dash. Pop that over. This guy is going to try and rogue me, so Axon, get ready to catch, hopefully, this Chacondi. We're all nice and bunched up rather predictably. Arcane Lynx, fire away, why don't we? Goes through a bunch. It does take care of my healer. The Exalted Gorilla is definitely one of the absolute menaces to this squad, and they should take me out with ease. Not going to go down without a fight, obviously, but as the Arcane Lynx falls, so will we. We'll take a little bit of a hit there. I very well should be close now to my level 4 mark. Or level 4 mark. Level 8 mark. And level 8 is where I'm going to start looking for Scoriox, assuming that nobody else is super hard focusing it. Does not look like it, so the potential is there. The Lynx has already been secured by Mr. Voss, so I actually don't care about selling off mine. Part of me wants to greedily just sell and go for the next level, but I don't have an Illuvium that would take its place comfortably. Alfie being there is tempting. Come on, Lynx. Find your target. Of course, it goes for a target that happens to be falling already. Now the bear is coming over. Give me a shot. There we go. Took care of a bunch. I think we have enough front line and support to get the job done here. The bear versus the crunk should go into my favor. TNT's still there shooting as well. I will be patient. I'm thinking about Alfie, but I'm not going to pull the trigger. Not now, not yet. I'm going to place Hetty on again. Or actually, what I very well could do is just something like this. I'm just going to have the Fennec box here, the Winx, join in for just a second's time for that empath buff. But optimally, here's how it would end up going. I would find not only some Furies, but also some Flares to start building up a magma line. Synergy, what do you have for me? Do want to keep at least some of my empath. I'm not going to guaranteed be able to keep the Winx. So, let's see what you've got. This is a must. I'm going to take that 100% of the time. Then I will add you here. I'm going to do a little bit of a rebinding to Magma Harbinger. I've been leaving that out on the table for the last little bit. And now let's start looking for Flare and Fury. I'm gonna pause at 70 though. I am still healthy. I don't need to be full pushing right now. KL3 here does have a couple of my flares, so it's going to slow me down a little bit. Optimally, though, I don't care about leveling it up to full. I just want it up to its second stage. That way I can actually start proccing magma. A very close fight, actually. If I can get one more arcane shot, this could be huge. Come on. Goes through 3, but doesn't necessarily have the firepower. I guess that's the difference between the fully evolved and the second stage. It still does decent damage, but not enough to really get that heavy hitting in here. Getting the other empath, this opens up some plays. Let's get that onto Archos. My weakest link in terms of tank, oddly enough, is going to be my Cling. So let's move that over. I'm going to put you there. And then you right on top. Let's stack that magma, because apparently that stuff stacks. No, let's actually keep the tank onto the Kronk. Pick up one more flare, and then we will pause. As the magma spreads, as they're fighting on my turf. Exactly what I'm looking for. A beautiful shot coming out here from my Arcane Lynx. Go right into their back line. Chips away. One more shot into the Allura. The front line's moving away from my back line, but it should still be okay. As we're just going to watch the melt away. Mr. Voss was leading this lobby. You may have that fully evolved Lynx, but I have the team composition. Okay, next up. LV Santos. A pretty scary squad, all things considered. Good day, Furiox. Lynx, you shall be retired. You've done well. Get me this augment off of the TNT. Put this back onto the Archelion for some quicker heals. So 4 Empath with 5 Bulwark, Harbinger Scion with the Magma leading on through. I did not do a very good job of positioning my Furiox, so in theory, if this Riptor does get the opportunity, they are going to slowly start crawling in onto my healing line. This is kind of what I'm worried about. No more heals, but we do have some decent damage, and my Furiox is slowly starting to ramp. It does have that attack speed buff, where every time it attacks, it gets additional attack speed. And in beautiful fashion, we're going to melt on through. Yeah, Lynx, you are done for me now. Thank you so much for your service. But at this point forward, that should be the end of the line. I'm going to do a little bit of repositioning here. Let's get Furiox into the cubby position. Meanwhile, TNT is going to be like the protector of sorts here for this squad. Close in a little bit so that Winx can cover the holes here. Let's get them all to cover the holes. Because it's magma. Let's back up our magma. Put them right into the back line so they're going to jump directly into fire. Alfie is here. I'm going to slowly start to build one. Just in case I run into a corner composition of some sort later down the line here. All of these rogues have jumped directly into my fire and are starting to melt, but granted, they are getting to some of my core units. Furiox is going to fall. Oh, maybe not. It's hanging on by a thread, actually. It did well, but not enough to get the job done here. We will end up falling in this one. It's a very scary squad there. Oh, what do? Steadfast might be kind of interesting for a little bit of extra tank, but it is going to get picked up since it was attached to that Ramthy. Which one is that? Omega Power? I'm actually just going to go for Squeeze. There we go. Because I'm still okay and rather wealthy right now in terms of credits, it may not be a bad idea. Take one empath off. Make room. Can Squeeze come party? Yes, it can. Then I level up once more, bring Alfie in for 4 Scion. I still have at least the 2 empath buff. And if I happen to get another one, that would be incredible as well. Strike crates. I mean, when in doubt, I just like the clumsy. And then energy crates. Just raw damage. Let's go. Okay. So what I can do, let's go as far to 70 as I can. That's actually enough to level me. Okay. I did something like this with the raw damage. And get the snowballing damage at this as well. I think the better option, actually, instead of going for Alfie... Oh, I'm kind of torn. The Mammoth is probably a better idea. Kind of left my squeeze out to dry there, but we're still hanging on. One more shock, not this time. Furiox off on the right-hand side is still peppering out damage, but we are being converged on rather quickly here. The squeeze being down loses our last hitter. But granted, they're pretty much down to tanks as well, and a Riptor that does not have any augments. If we get lucky, we might be able to get there just in time. These blinds are making things annoying, but we have true sight. And we will hold the line. Just barely. Scrappy, but we got the job done. Blame me? Yep, fair enough. Another ghost this time. Let's see. We can do something similar, but we do need to reposition this a little bit here. Don't know where the accent came from. Don't mind me. Make it so that the TNT is the one kind of holding the line. Something like that. The day was okay. How was your day? Elvi Santos, they gave me a run for my money last time we played. Let's see if we have the firepower now to get the job done. Big heals, please, Archos. We need it quickly. Okay, Squeeze will fall. Maybe I need to move Squeeze and Alfie around here. Yeah, because we just got plowed right through. In fact, I feel like Alfie might just not be doing much here for me. Quiet day. Hey, that's okay. I'm glad. Okay, given the team composition we're looking at now, yeah, Mammoth is going to come play. Can my Ranger squeak back here with my other units? Do something like this. I need to keep myself alive. Of course I level up Alfie now when I'm not looking at them. I still had a damn... Cling on the board. I didn't even realize. Okay. A little bit of movement. Maybe I replace Cardillo here in this next one. Alright, Octius, where's your firepower? Need you to finish off some of these Luvials. I know the gorilla's on ya. Come on. I did get one reset, but now the pain train's kind of starting to come on through. The Charm actually kind of helping me here move my Furiox a little bit further north. But now we're still going to get eaten alive. Mr. Voss has fallen, which means we are now on the podium for sure. What is the play? What is the play? First off, Cardillo, make the swap. Make the swap, please. With my Cling. This is a frontline squad. Let's move both of my Magma users to the front. And now we roll. Quickly, if possible. Okay, I'll have to pause. They did not necessarily go into the favor that I was looking for. Got a little bit of everything rather than hard focusing on one thing. Cardillo, go away. If I'm lucky, I'll get another shot at this. Good shots coming out here from my Octius. Oh, but their tank line's pretty strong. We need the Thunder. Oh, stunned up is not going to be good. Not good at all. We're going to die. Yep. Too little, too late. But we shall fall in third place. At the end of the day, that is still a bonus. Not much rating, but I can kind of tell that was going to end up happening. It did look like it was a couple of newer players. We have another meeting coming up on Thursday. We have two of our biggest tournaments coming up in the next 2 weeks. IPL 500 this week coming up, which should be a Saturday, Sunday. And I imagine the IPL 1000, our first major, is going to be today as well. This is why trying to schedule things with me is a damn nightmare, because there's just too much exciting tournament action week after week here. Not a bad thing though. I'm definitely thankful. The fact that it's not voluntary as well as an absolute godsend, allowing me to focus on Illuvium and trying to be as best as possible. Yes, it does take away a lot of my weekends, which is heartbreaking a little bit, but it is a necessary evil, unfortunately. There is a very, very safe chance of what you said is correct. As painful as that may be. We're just about at that 12 o'clock mark, so I don't think I have enough time to squeak in one more. I won't be able to finish it in 8 minutes, that's for damn sure. So, shall just slowly start chilling to kind of wrap things up here for today. I feel bad, that's just the thing though with esports, right? Majority of their events end up being on the weekend, and I know for us in particular, I know we've been trying to squeak in a weekend. But between family and between work, it's not been necessarily working out, and I do feel bad, very, very bad, but just nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. You know what? I'm thankful you understand. I'm very thankful. A lot of people would get extremely angry at me in this position. There's been many times where I've been said, well, why don't you just work a factory or something more traditional? Which, let's be honest, if you work at a factory in 2025, they're probably going to force you to work Saturday anyway. And then, dude, it's just, I'm thankful to be able to work with something that I enjoy doing. At the end of the day, it's still work, but I'm thankful to be able to do it. For anyone just tuning in regards to what's happening this week for Illuvium, you may have just heard me kind of just touch on it, but today at noon, there is going to be the sit-and-go qualifiers for the Tempest Esports Leviathan tournaments. So these are the Illuvials that you actually own competing on the field for you in a tournament fashion. Their sit-and-goes in the ranked Leviathan leaderboard starts in about 6 minutes time. And then, of course, this weekend, I have just heard me touch on the IPL, but of course the IPL 500 sit-and-goes on Friday at 12 and at 8, I believe, respectively, in my time. Not sure about UTC, but that's something to keep in mind. With, of course, the main event being on Saturday and then Sunday for the grand finalists. At your last job Saturday, and then, yeah. That's definitely frustrating. I used to work at a factory actually that had something very, very similar happen. um, pretty consistently. And midnights, at least personally to me, midnights suck. I just could not get used to it. I hated being awake during the night, which I know is very anti-gamer of me, but it just didn't click. I know some people, I think you said before that you actually enjoyed it, so to each their own. I'm glad you did. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. 100%. But with that being said, I think it shall be time to just about wrap up here for today's stream. My next personal stream will be happening on Wednesday in the morning, so 10 a.m. my time till about 12 once again. You'll probably be seeing a handful of videos, whether it be on the Illuvium channel or on my own, that I had the opportunity to work on. I think it's awesome that I have the opportunity to be able to do so. And it all started from just streaming here, streaming for all of you, and I have all of you to thank for it. And I appreciate all of the support. IPL this weekend happening on both days. Yeah, so basically you have to qualify on Friday to then compete in the top 64 on Saturday, and then the grand final is Sunday. I imagine that the week after for the IPL 1000, it'll be a similar scenario there as well. Because that is the one thing that did make kind of an interesting change as well. For the IPL 250 and I believe the IPL 500s, before whoever was just the top 8 players, I think, in IPL standings did not have to play to qualify anymore on Fridays. Now they do. It's just the 1000, I believe, that they get the invite for. So these players, week after week, they're putting in the work to get themselves up there. Yeah, I'm curious about how the 1000 will for sure end up going. I imagine it'll be similar to the 500. Just more prizing, more points on the line, and basically a better push for any of those players that want to hop into that World Championship come December. I'll of course give you the confirmation one way or another as soon as I get the confirmation myself on Thursday afternoon. I feel bad thinking about it this way, but honestly assume I'm not available, but I will be sure to let you know if all of a sudden I am. Unfortunately, when it comes to plans, I just have a bit of a harder time with them, apparently. I'm harder to schedule around compared to most people, it seems. I'd much rather you all schedule around yourselves, and if I have the opportunity, then I'll hop in, kind of thing. If that makes any sense, because, yeah, if someone's waiting on me, I'm scared that they'll end up waiting forever. Sounds good. Sounds good to me, thank you. And thank you, of course, for understanding. Yeah, and this is exactly the kind of position that I worry about, because I don't like being the person waited on. I always feel extremely, extremely bad. Not like I try to avoid it on purpose or anything like that, because that's not the case in the slightest. Just compared to, say, a factory or something like that, where you have your schedule for the next 2 weeks for the most part. I have a schedule of the events, but I don't know necessarily what I'm working. But at the same time, even when I was at the past esports job, it was a very similar situation where you just assumed that you worked, but you didn't know what you were doing yet. Oh, I'm sure, but I still feel bad, though. But without further ado, I feel a little bit of a headache coming on, so for gear in particular, I'll gladly take this to Discord in just a moment's time. But, of course, anybody else and everybody, of course, thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you in a little bit next Wednesday for the stream. Gear, I'll talk to you in a few minutes. And take care, everybody.